Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, hackers took out Apex Legends, GTA6 leaks have been corroborated, GPU prices keep falling, and much more. Hackers targeted Apex Legends yesterday and managed to break matchmaking for several hours. They forced messages into the game that demanded Respawn fix Titanfall 1 and managed to make it impossible for some players to find matches. Titanfall 1 has been unplayable for years thanks to hackers ruining matches, crashing servers, and infesting lobbies with malicious bots. It's about as broken as a game can be. The hackers that went after Apex yesterday were prompting the Save Titanfall website, which has no official affiliation with Respawn or Titanfall. Respawn recently promised that help was coming for their debut title, but it hasn't arrived yet. They spent several hours investigating the attacks on Apex and eventually pushed a fix that remedied the situation just before midnight. Overall, the situation is pretty ugly. Attacking one game to get the developers to fix another is pretty frustrating. Regardless of what you might think about Titanfall being unplayable or Respawn's obligation to fix it, hurting innocent players on an entirely different game seems more malicious than helpful. Respawn haven't issued any official statement about the incident. It's unclear if they'll fix Titanfall 1 or not. Given the severity of the game's problems, it doesn't seem like an easy fix. That might explain why it's taking so long. If you're looking for the latest PC gaming hardware, check out today's sponsor, Origin PC. They offer customizable, pre-built PCs that you can tweak to your liking. Their prices are very competitive with other PC builders, but their shipping and customer service go above and beyond. Their PCs arrive in wooden crates, and if you ever have an issue, they'll help you sort it out with 24/7 customer service. Click the link below to start customizing your Origin PC today. Leaks about Grand Theft Auto 6 have been corroborated by industry insiders Andy Robinson and Jason Schreier. They say leaker Tom Henderson's claims that Grand Theft Auto 6 launches in 2025 and is set in modern-day Vice City is accurate. Schreier, in particular, is considered to be a very reliable source. His report about poor working conditions and crunch time at Rockstar during the development of Red Dead Redemption 2 led to a massive shift in the studio's culture. Schreier's sources for the report include over a dozen current and former employees at the studio. So if anyone has credible information about future Rockstar games, it's Schreier. That said, it's important to keep in mind Rockstar haven't even acknowledged a new Grand Theft Auto game is in development. They were working on a next-gen update for GTA 5 that sounds like a pretty massive project. Rumors suggest it'll be a remaster instead of a simple patch that unlocks higher resolutions and frame rates. The next-gen update is due out later this year. Speaking of next-gen upgrades, it turns out the Director's Cut upgrade for Ghost of Tsushima will run players an extra $10 if you want to play it on the PlayStation 5 but already own a PlayStation 4 copy. The new edition is currently available as a paid $20 upgrade on PlayStation 4 and $70 title for the PlayStation 5. Basically, there's no real way to get around paying $70 for the PlayStation 5 version of the Director's Cut. Night Drive Studios released a new gameplay trailer for the System Shock remake. It's 7 minutes of footage showcasing the game's research level, and it looks fantastic. The remake has gone through some trials and tribulations over the years, but it's finally launching this summer. At first glance, the gameplay might seem a bit dated, but that's because the game is attempting to emulate the original, which was one of the first FPS games, ever. It was a groundbreaking title and influenced many other games. The remake is both a faithful recreation of the original and a modern redesign. In a nutshell, fans of the original game have a lot to look forward to, while newcomers are getting an excellent starting point. Development of Mortal Kombat 11 is over. NetherRealm Studios announced that they're ending support of the game to focus on a new project. Mortal Kombat 11 was a massive success for the studio following years of well-marketed but ultimately disappointing releases. The 11th game got a ton of DLC, including new characters, story content, costumes, and more. Unfortunately, the game isn't without its problems. Concerns about balanced matchmaking and a few other things still linger. With development over, it's doubtful that NetherRealms will address these issues. Their next title will either be Injustice 3 or Mortal Kombat 12. Ubisoft delisted Might and Magic 10 Legacy after shutting down the game's servers. Ending online support made sections of the game unplayable without workarounds, frustrating fans. In response, Ubisoft removed the game from sale instead of fixing whatever issues the server shutdown caused. The game is currently being review bombed on Steam over the decision. Mass Effect Legendary Edition finally has mod tools. The Mass Effect modding community put together a toolset called Legendary Explorer that lets players dig deep into the game and make big modifications like restoring Miranda's cutscene buttshot camera angle. The tools aren't considered stable yet, but they should be available on official sites like Nexus Mods soon. GPU prices are continuing to fall in Germany. Pricing is around 150% of retail, its lowest point in several months. While these prices are specific to Germany, they're a good indication that pricing is falling globally. Actually being able to get a GPU without resorting to third-party sellers is still a big problem though. Scalping operations continue to buy up any available stock to resell it on eBay at a massive markup. Once stock shortages are resolved, the average gamer should be able to get their hands on new hardware. Hopefully that'll happen leading into 2022. Riot Games are getting into the royalty-free music business. This year has been one of turmoil for content creators and streamers thanks to the music industry finally deciding to go after content on Twitch. Riot have released an album of copyright-free lo-fi music specifically for content creators called Sessions Vi. It's available on Spotify, Apple Music, and YouTube. All of the tracks are safe to use in your streams or videos, though you're not allowed to sell them or use them for commercial music tracks. Upcoming Battle Royale Vampire the Masquerade Bloodhunt has a new system requirement following its closed alpha phase. You'll need at least a GTX 1070 or an RX 5600 XT to run the game at a decent resolution and frame rate. And that is a leap of one generation forward from the original recommended specs, which were the GTX 970 or RX 590. Before we get to our final story today, make sure you're subscribed to catch our coverage of the EA Play Live Spotlight series this week. We may get some new Battlefield 2042 info during the presentations ahead of EA Play Live's official debut on the 22nd. If you've ever wondered how many players are actually cheating in CSGO, we finally have a solid guess. The game's player count has fallen by almost 17% since Valve put key features behind a paywall. Prime matchmaking, which costs $15, is the only way to get case drops, XP, and competitive matchmaking. Previously, Prime matchmaking was just a way of ensuring that you only played against other Prime players, but now it's required to get the complete experience. They made this change to combat cheating and malicious activities by bad actors. It seems like it's doing the trick. The game's concurrent player count has dropped by over 100,000 players. Many of those players were likely bots used by cheaters to farm XP and case drops. And that wraps it up for today in gaming. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap signing off.